Okay, here's something nobody ever warned me about when I bought my first Tesla. At some point, the excitement just kind of fades. Not because anything went wrong or because I got tired of it. Eventually, because the car stops feeling like this new piece of technology you're constantly thinking about or constantly playing with, and it starts feeling more like, well, a car. And the moment that Tesla becomes normal is honestly the stage of ownership almost nobody talks about. Most videos out there talk about the first week with a Tesla, their first drive, their delivery day, their first road trip, and that's basically when everything is sort of new and exciting still. But the question that actually matters is what happens after all of that excitement wears off. Because that's when you find out if this is a right car for you. The funny thing is about owning a Tesla is that the first week is almost overwhelming. Delivery day is exciting, the first few drives just feel completely different, and you're constantly on the menu adjusting settings, testing new features, and checking the app like it's going to tell you something different every time you look at it. Or worse, you're trying to see if everybody else that has all these horror stories were right, and you're waiting for the app to crash, or maybe you're looking for that percentage to dip down really low to prove the point that electric vehicles is not a right car. You're watching the battery percentage like it's telling you something different every time. And all that is fun. I'm not saying it isn't, but it doesn't last. And here's the thing, it's not a bad sign. The car's just doing what it's supposed to do. Because the goal isn't for the car to feel exciting forever. The goal is for it to fit your life so naturally that you stop thinking about it. And that's exactly what happened. The first thing I noticed fading was actually the one thing I expected last. When you first get the car, you're exploring everything. The menu, the settings, every little feature you didn't know it even had. You're not just driving a car now, you're investigating everything. But somewhere around month 1 or maybe month 2, or if you're a little more techie, maybe a couple weeks, all that kind of stuff just, you stop doing it. You simply just get it. You drive the car and you go where you need to go. And then you realize you haven't even opened half of the menus you started investigating after time. Not because they stopped working, basically your curiosity of it gets answered already within the first few weeks. And then it just quietly goes away. And the weird part is, that's when the car starts to feel yours. Not a gadget you're trying to figure out, but simply just custom to you. And here's what surprised me. Some things don't fade at all, and those are the things that actually matter. I expected the excitement to fade. What I didn't expect was what stayed, and that was really rhymy. Awesome. The cabin is still quiet in ways that gas cars aren't. Every time I rent a car or borrow a friend's car, that's the first thing I notice, how loud the sound is. It's the engine that reverberates throughout the car. It just feels louder.
Ay, Dios mío.
All the sounds that you eventually stop hearing because you kind of just tune it off and it just becomes white noise. In a Tesla, the quiet is just always there. Between the double-sided pane glass, the additional insulation in the car, it's very quiet. One pedal driving is the same way. At first it felt a bit unnatural, but now I can't imagine driving without it. Not because it's impressive anymore, it's just because it's comfortable now. And that's kind of the theme here. The things that felt exciting early on stop being exciting and comfortable. It turns out that for daily drivers, it matters more than the excitement of it. And nowhere is that more true than the parts of ownership that felt more like habits and eventually just become routine. And if this is the real ownership stuff you want to see more of, subscribing to the channel helps the channel bring you more content like this. Okay, let's get back into the video. Charging is probably the clearest example of the shift. Early on, you start paying attention to everything. Range numbers, battery percentage, planning around chargers, wondering if you'll have enough battery for the whole week. But after a few months of plugging in every evening before you go to bed and just waking up with a full battery, that part just becomes part of your closing out for the day. You pull into your driveway, you plug it in, and you just go inside. It stops being a big deal anymore. Same thing with the app preconditioning before you leave the house, checking the battery from the couch, and unlocking it from your phone. At first it feels like stuff from the future, and now it's just how the car works. And I think that's the best version of the EV experience. All the things you started to notice at first, all the excitement, just becomes normal and you stop noticing it. But the biggest shift that happens over time isn't the car at all. Here's the thing that actually surprised me about long-term Tesla ownership. It's not the car, it's not the features, it's not the cost, it's how much mental space the car stops taking up. Early on, you start thinking about everything. You start thinking about the range, you start thinking about the features, the software, is it updating, is it connected to your Wi-Fi? You start thinking about all those things. Then there's this learning curve and your brain starts to manage it better. But once all that stuff settles, all that thinking just kind of disappears. You stop wondering, is it gonna work? Does it work? And you just assume it does. Now, yes, there are flukes out there. There are some software updates that don't work, or maybe some hardware issues, or maybe some mechanical issues with the car that just require some service. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when the car, which I've had 2 of them, actually 3 if you count my wife's, and we've never had an issue with any of them. Except for the steering wheel thing that I talked about in a different video. Range anxiety, if you had any, it just fades. The charging routine becomes automatic, and the car starts to feel less like something you're managing and more like something that just manages itself. That mental quiet is subtle. It builds slowly. And honestly, the best part of long-term EV ownership, it's not the kind of thing that makes for an exciting YouTube video. Now, I want to be honest about something because this doesn't work the same for everyone. Long-term Tesla ownership tends to work really well for certain kinds of people. Someone who's comfortable with technology, someone who's okay with the car evolving through software updates. Sometimes the car changes and you adapt. Someone who values the simplicity of how the car operates day to day. But if you're someone that wants the car to stay the same for the next 10 years, same menu, same features, no surprises, Tesla ownership can feel a little bit different. Not worse, just different. The product is designed to change over time, and most of the times that's a good thing. Occasionally means getting used to something new, a new feature, a new design, a new touch item, or a new sound. And that's part of the deal, and it's worth knowing going in. So after all of it, the excitement, the learning curve, the routine, here's where I actually landed. Come here. The moment it stands out most to me about Tesla ownership isn't the delivery day. It's not the first long trip or when I figured out one-pedal driving. It's a random Tuesday morning a few months in. I walked out to the car, I unplugged it, got in, and drove to work. And I didn't think about any of it. No excitement, no anxiety, no curiosity, just a car that was charged, comfortable, and ready to go. That's the moment you realize it worked. Not because it impressed you, but because it disappeared into your regular life routine. And honestly, as a daily driver, that's exactly where you want to be. So when somebody on the street that knows you drive a Tesla or an electric vehicle asks you, how is it to have one? The answer is, it's a car. You get in, you drive to work, and you drive back home. That's it. And if you're early in your journey or you're still on the fence about buying an electric vehicle or even a Tesla, I have videos about delivery day, what you should be buying the first week of delivery, and my experience so far with the car. And if you're finding value in videos like this, hit the subscribe button, like this video, or share it with somebody who's still on the fence. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.